To another episode of the In Between the Stitches podcast. I am your host, Brady Wilson, with my co-host, Chase Allswinger.
Good afternoon.
It is a good afternoon. You know, it's getting a little cold. It's not as warm as it was a couple weeks ago, but it's spring training weather. You know, we're starting to get the sports back.
Yeah, there you go. You guys on spring break?
Yeah, yeah, it's been fun. But, you know, we got the Stars, as you can see, in my Stars jersey tonight, and a couple reasons. One, I felt like, you know, having a sports jersey on today, and then also I'm going to the game tonight against Edmonton.
All right.
Stars have been on an absolute tear. I mean, I feel like we've been saying that multiple times this year, but they're 40, 14, and 10, only 5 points behind those dastardly Colorado Avalanche, and only 3 points ahead of the dastardly Minnesota Wild. It is one of the tightest races I can imagine when it comes to just, you know, standings. If you look at the top 4 teams in the league, those are 3 of them. The only
Same
one,
division. Insane.
The only one that eclipses Minnesota is by 1 point, and it's Carolina. And then the next highest is Buffalo, behind them by 1, and then there's a drop off, Tampa Bay to 4 points behind. So it's really interesting to see, and I think there are a lot of people are complaining about the current playoff format because it means that 2 of those 3 teams will be going home within the first 2 rounds.
Yeah,
guaranteed.
Yeah,
you know, where what it should be is maybe one of those teams going home in the first 2 rounds, and then maybe 2 of them meeting in the conference finals. You know, everyone has their chance. You know, Anaheim's going to probably have their chance. Edmonton, Vegas are leading the Pacific, and then right now it's Utah and Seattle. Well, Seattle's tied with the Kings, but let's just say it's Seattle. Those are the 2 wildcard teams. So they'll have their chance. It's just probably not a great one, right? That's just kind of the nature of it. But the Stars have been playing really well. They're on this really interesting homestand where they had 6 straight games at home. I think they're right in the middle of it. They got a few more next week, and they go back on the road, and they come back home. So it's, you know, they got a lot of home games down this stretch.
Finish off the season.
They beat Vegas 2-1. What was that, on Tuesday?
Yes.
Then
Is that right? Yeah.
lost to Colorado in a shootout.
I was actually in Denver at the time at a Nuggets game, and there was a bunch of people around the arena kind of watching it, and like, yes, and I was like, no, everybody surrounding me was not. We were the enemies there.
Yeah, well, and I got to say, it's probably fun to be the enemy, especially in hockey. If, you know, when you go to a hockey game, there are a few people that I've noticed that with hockey, there are like the fans there that are opposing are a little bit more rowdy than other sports. Baseball, some fans will kind of be a little more quiet about it. Some fans, but like. I went to a Rangers Orioles game, and there were some Orioles fans, and they were pretty cordial. They weren't like those obnoxious out of town fans.
Orioles fans are.
Astros fans are a different story. That's a rivalry. That doesn't count. That's rivalry. But they are just on a tear right now. You know, obviously the new guy is coming in, Michael Bunting. I'm pretty sure we covered it, but just in case you missed it, traded for a 3rd round pick. I think 2027.
I think we might have covered Myers on the show, but maybe not Bunting because he was the day after.
I'm excited about him. You know, he's 13 goals. He's a little bit. I think he was cheaper in terms of the capital you had to give up to get him. Besides as opposed to a Blake Coleman, I think that's why they went with Bunting. He kind of does stuff around the net. You know, he's kind of one of those gritty, kind of Sam Steele type of guys that they seem to like. Tyler Myers, obviously big 6'8" defenseman. They gave up a 2 and a 4. For him, but mainly it's to help have Vancouver retain salary, and now we have the 2 big rigs, you know, Tyler Myers and Liam Bichsel as a D pairing that's averages like 6. They're both 6'7", 6'8".
Right.
So I mean, it's insane how tall that pairing is.
Yeah.
But they've been playing well. You know, the offense is clicking a little bit. It's taken a little bit of a hit, especially the power play without Mikko Rantanen, who's on my jersey, and I'm very sad I won't get to see him. And Roope Hintz being out. But I think once you can try to get those guys back, then there's 2 big additions to your lineup, and hopefully we get them back before the playoffs. It sounds like Roope might be just after the playoffs. Foxa sounds like he could be kind of the same timeline. So what it sounds like is that he had an upper body and then injured his lower body while coming back. So, you know, at least he didn't do it at the Olympics, but can't say the same for Mikko Rantanen. Obviously got hurt in the Olympics. We don't know what the injury is, but hopefully he can come back. I did see
that he was skating soon, though.
Yeah, he'll be skating soon, so hopefully he can come back just before the playoffs, and we'll have him back. We'll have Moose back. Obviously, we're going to need him if we're going to win Stanley Cup. So, yep. Moving on to the Mavs, I saw that a draft target potentially got hurt, I think. There was like one of the top college players got injured.
I mean, Darius Acuff and Michael Brown. I think you're talking about Michael Brown from Louisville.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're just holding him out until a tournament. But there's not much really to talk about the Mavs. Although there is one very important thing: the Pelicans won last night.
Yeah, we've moved up,
and we have moved up to the projected 6th spot now, which is great. Other than that, they're losing games, which is great, and that's about it.
It's great for let's rephrase this. Again, it's not great
for the player. We love the players.
Sucks.
Yeah, I mean,
but it's for the future of the organization. It's what has to happen.
They have to keep losing.
Yes, and if we had more time, and I'll explain why we don't have as much time today, but in a second. But the tanking conversation is very interesting. I'd like to do like a full segment on it at some point because
maybe we can for the lottery.
Because the nature of tanking is you're losing, but the point of the game is to win. But like if you're going to try to be successful long term, the best way to do it is to acquire how do you acquire LeBron James? Well, you draft him.
Yeah.
Right? How do you acquire Steph Curry? You draft him. How do you acquire Cooper Flag? You draft him. How do you acquire Luka Doncic? You trade for him because the GM's an idiot. But that's a little different rules for Luka. But the point is that that's the best way to acquire a superstar. It's not through free agency. It's a homegrown guy that you can draft, develop, whatever comes up through your organization. Maybe he has loyalty to your organization, right? All that. He's on a cheap contract. He's one of the best. Right? That's how you do it. And the best way to do that is, you can't eliminate tanking. Right. That you can fix the lottery, you can whatever you want. As long as that is the way for young players to be acquired, the best young talent from college, then it will, and overseas, you will never be able to get rid of it because it is still the best way to get better, is to have high draft picks and hope you hit on those draft picks. Yep. It sucks for the fans, but
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
We're all happy on the inside.
Well, we'll be happy in 3 years.
Well, hopefully. Hopefully.
If we get the 4th overall pick and we get a superstar out of it, we'll be happy in 3 years.
Yeah.
It's just that right now we're in the middle of we're in the eye of the storm, as they say. But is that it for the Mavs?
That's about it.
Yeah, it's the same thing we've been saying for the last several weeks.
Yeah. I mean, I know you can go into it more here, but we're going to skip over the Rangers for right now.
The Rangers segment will take, literally spring training is happening.
Oh,
There's no injuries.
Okay.
No, there's no major injuries.
Yeah, keep it. And they're playing well too.
They're playing well. I mean, it's gonna be, we'll do more roster projections, I think, next week. That'll, picking the predictions. I had a mind blank there, but season predictions, maybe looking at what we had last year, how wrong we were. I had the Braves win the World Series, I was so wrong. Who did you have? You remember?
I think it was Giants and Rangers.
Ooh,
yeah. It was really bad.
It was pretty bad. But baseball's one of those sports. It's really hard to predict. But, the Rangers, again, the West is wide open. Their pitching is one of the best. Their hitting is they're going to have to try to find contributions. We did sign Andrew McCutchen. Looking at his resume, I mean, there's a debate on him being in the Hall of Fame. Definitely. A big debate. It'll be very interesting to see when that conversation happens, but he's probably got 1 or 2 more years of playing left in him.
Yeah.
I mean, he still crushes lefties. And if you want to platoon him and Jock at DH, I'm totally fine with that. I like Kutch. Yeah. He's a good mentor. He's, he's, like you talk about culture, he's not going to cause problems culture-wise. I think and it's also like, look, if you're not contending in the middle of July and you want to ship him to a team that wants him, boom, there you go. Free prospect or two, So, but that's going to do it, I think, for the Rangers. It's just continue to go through spring training. There's really nothing else to talk about.
2 weeks away.
Spring training is boring and people overreacting to stats, and I choose not to do that. But now we're going to get to the Cowboy segment. The Cowboy segment's a special one because we will be inviting host, from 105.3 The Fan, Zach Wolchuk, a UNT alum. Chase is about to give him a call.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Chase. Well, it's funny, and I'm going to mention this to him. I've sent him this podcast like a lot. Like last semester, schoolwork got a hold of me, but this semester I've been better at sending it every week, and I don't think he's made the connection. Like, this is the podcast I send him, and then this is one of the hosts.
And then I met him, and I exchanged contact information with him. I've been talking with him, and then just so happens I invited him to join us, and he said that he would love to hop on for a few.
Yeah.
And I'm about to give him a call.
So we're gonna ask him.
And this will be a little fun Cowboy segment.
Yeah, we're gonna ask him about the Cowboys. All right.
What's up, dude?
Hey, Zach. We are live right now on the show. I just wanted to thank you again for hopping on.
Yeah, of course. My pleasure.
Hey, Zach. This is Brady Wilson, the host of the show. I don't know if you've put this, but I'm the guy that sends you the show on Twitter, like the DM. You're on that show.
Oh, what's up, Brady? Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Heck yeah.
So when I send you this episode, you're going to get to hear your voice now. I'm going to send you a show.
There we go.
I really appreciate you hopping on, helping the young UNT talent here.
Well, go mean green, dude. I'm happy to do it. You're the future.
Oh, appreciate it.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, yeah, again, Zach, thank you so much for hopping on. I know we got a lot of Cowboys drama the last couple of days here, and we wanted to, get your opinion on some things or some insights. I mean, first off, how do you grade this Cowboys offseason and free agency so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think anybody who says the Cowboys defense isn't better, I would very much disagree with. I mean, I think you got to look at this as like a B- right now. Sean Gary is a fit for what Christian Parker wants to do. He to pull on what he can do in his alignment on defense, whether that is playing the 2-point stand edge rusher. He can also kick inside, put his hand on the ground if they want to go with a 4-down. And I love what they did at safety. I mean, I think that the safety group is one that is really to get overhauled for some time now. And to be able to get Jalen Thompson is a guy that can do a lot of what CP wants in terms of being able to cover the slot, nickel, dime packages. He's able to come up and play the box. Like, you can line him up place, and he's able to help this guy's coverage. Same thing with PJ Locke. Like, PJ Locke can rotate free in the strong who they got from Denver, but he also is, I think, probably better suited safety. So them paired with Malik Hooker, you've got 3 guys that you actually feel good about being at the same time. So I love what they're doing with the secondary. The big question is just, okay, where are you going to go get a linebacker now? And that's certainly a big hole. And then the Trosa getting a third, I think, was smart. I don't think he really fit here. I think he was about what was his fit now in this defense. So to send him to San Francisco hurts. To help an in-conference rival. But to get pick 92, I think, is a huge asset. Aaron Thomas is also a guy who kind of just seems to have a great relationship with Aaron White-Cotton, who was your D-line coach, to rejoin Robert Saleh in Tennessee. So that made sense and just kind of saved up some money. So they've still got work to do, but I do like the moves that they've made so far.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that, look, the people on Twitter, I'm having to get off Twitter, I think, for a couple days just because, like, people want to grade it as it looks now, and this is not how this defense is going to look come September, right? We've got 2 first-round draft picks, got a third-round draft pick, and we know from 2021 that when the defense is historically this bad, more than likely they're going to use a lot of premium picks to just defensive players. I remember the 2021 draft, they didn't draft an offensive player like the 5th round.
Yeah.
Right. I think it was Josh Ball.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not how this. We also have some more space to go. Maybe trade for Jonathan Grenard from Minnesota, who Marcus Dixon has a connection with. And I feel like I'm looking at the current free agents and I'm trying to connect the dots. I feel like that meme, that guy that's connecting dots. Because I'm trying to find because they seem to prioritize a connection with one of the coaches on the staff versus, and maybe even like on the offensive staff. Hey, this guy was, Brian Schottenheimer coached with this guy and whatever, and he has rave reviews about him. But I just don't like the negativity yet because we don't know what the final look of the defense is going to be. If they really don't do much else until the draft, then I think they're right for some criticism.
Yeah, it's. I mean, look, we'd love for them to be able to plug all the holes immediately. I think that they were trying to pursue Quay Walker and then Nakobe Dean, and it didn't work out. Those guys wanted to play together in Vegas. So, I mean, they got to still get figured out. The Brandon Aubrey deal, he's going to be on the 2nd-round tender. So is TJ Bass. Those guys could – maybe another team comes and says, hey, we are interested and you get a 2nd-round pick out of that. But, I mean, I think you're right. I think that we can kind of be a little prisoner of the moment and get emotional. And I get it. I mean, I would have liked to have been in on Trey Hendrickson, and the Max Crosby stuff's been absolutely insane. It sounds like they're not in on that right now at all. But it's you got to kind of wait. I mean, do they revisit the Crosby stuff maybe even after the draft? Is that something that ends up happening? Similar to how they ended up trading for George Pickens last year. They're hoping to go get Ted Rowan McMillan, the wide receiver from Arizona. Then the Carolina Panthers take him. So they end up still needing a wide receiver too. Like this, the offseason's long. It's not all week. I think the fact that they're actually doing things, whereas we probably could have scheduled a vacation and taken this week off in the past, is a step in the right direction. So I get frustrated, kind of throw in the entire 30 years of this not playing even in an NFC championship game into that, but it's not all going to happen immediately overnight.
Yeah, and I've also seen a lot of people, with their criticisms online and saying, well, they kind of just are back to square one where you have Quinnen and Kenny now in your nose tackles, but you don't have that depth anymore. So now do you think that they address that now in the draft? I've seen Peter Woods is a big target for them. Or do they, go get a guy like Jonathan Grenard and kind of move him inside? Because I know he's good at, stopping the run. I don't know where they address the depth now at the defensive tackle position.
Tito Bonya is who they signed, who's a nose tackle from the Chargers. So I think he's the guy that would be a depth piece for Kenny Clark. They still have Jay Toia, who they drafted a year ago, also from UCLA. So that's 3 UCLA Bruins. I think they really need another end, right? So, like, you've got Quinnen Williams, who's probably going to play that defensive end for you, and then would kick inside if you want to go 4 down linemen. So you got 2 defensive tackles. But outside of that, who's going to be that other end? I think that's where Peter Woods would come into play if they were to take him. Another guy like Keldrick Falk, does he make sense from Auburn? So, yeah, that's an area. Maybe it's even, hey, you signed Jonathan Allen, whom the went ahead and just released, like, names like that would be guys that would fit that, defensive end spot in this system possibly. And that would just be to kind of add a depth piece. So that's something that you could still see added in free agency, but now it is something where previously I wasn't looking at a Peter Woods, or maybe it's even a Caleb Banks out of Florida who can give you some of that flexibility. They might now definitely be more so back into that conversation.
Well, here, Zach, we're going to do some draft talk now, which is one of my, as everyone here knows, was one of my jams. Got the draft folder up on Twitter now. I'm at 25 players watched. I'm hoping to schoolwork, and Zach, you understand this. I'm in that junior year of journalism, so I'm doing so many stories, and I'm so swamped with schoolwork that I got behind. But get back on track now. But I've watched Banks, I've watched Peter Woods, and I've watched Falk. And out of those 3, I'd rather take Peter Woods. Falk is just, I don't want to sound like John Owning here, but he's just like, there's no explosion. There's not much pass rush upside. He doesn't really know what he's doing. He's fine. My comp for him is Dietrich Wise. He's fine as a run stopper, but that's a second-round guy to me. Caleb Banks reminds me so much of Walter Nolan from last year, where he'll have 2 or 3 plays where he just dominates it doesn't look fair. And then he'll have 2 or 3 plays where you didn't realize he was on the field because there's just no impact. The inconsistency is frustrating. But Woods, he's a little bit smaller, but I think that you can clearly tell on tape that puts like a chip on his shoulder. And I feel like he had the most play-to-play impact against the run and the pass. Like, of those 3 names, give me Peter Woods. But I'm in on Cassius Howell, who I watched. He's one of my favorite players I think I've watched in this class. I like the twitchy edge rushers, and that he's definitely that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you between those 3. I think Peter Woods is the guy. I think he's an extraordinary run defender. I think he's really, really good at being able to stack, shed, get off blocks, and make plays in the run game, but then also does give you some ability to get upfield as a pass rusher. Banks is probably the best overall athlete maybe at his size, and he's just got such long arms. He is a very intriguing player. He was just banged up, missed a lot of last year, so you got to go back. And Woods' tape 2 years ago is also better than his. I like Keldrick Falk. I do. I'm with you in terms of in John as well. Like, he isn't the bendy, first step fire off the football, but he also was asked to do a lot of, I'm having to take on, 2 blockers, gap and a half type of scheme. I'm trying to just set the edge. He wasn't a guy that got upfield. He really kind of created for Kieran Crawford and others along that defense to be able to put up numbers. So I think Falk, I like more than I think others do. I'd probably rank it Woods, Falk, and Banks in that order. Cassius Howell, when I first watched him, I am a fan. I like his game. I think he's got some smarts when it comes to being able, Notre Dame, he makes a really good play where he knifes through the defense and stops a run at the goal line, kind of similar to what you would see DeMarcus Lawrence do. The issue is when you watched him against Texas and he's got to go up against Trevor Gooseby, who'll be a first-round pick next year at tackle, he gets dominated. And then the following week again, when he plays Miami, he does nothing. So that's my biggest concern is like, okay, when he's going to play against NFL tackles every week, is Cassius Howell going to show up? The short arms thing is not as big of a deal to me as others, but he is a little bit lighter. I like him. I just have, I think, other edges that I would probably take a flyer on ahead of Cassius Howell. Like Malachi Lawrence is the dude I love from UCF. He's probably not a first rounder. If he could be at 92, I'd throw a party. I don't think that he will be. I think he's too good.
And there's the connection.
But,
with one of our
Right.
coaches that I think he was I don't remember what his title is with us, but he was with UCF's defense last year with Malachi Lawrence. So there's a connection there.
So it's one of the and Cassius Hal, I think that, you go back to Mike Elko and his relationship with Christian Parker, that makes a lot of sense as well. I'm sure you're going to have a big contingency there. And the production over his career for Cassius Hal is there. So I think he's definitely a name that they're going to consider. The only thing for Hal that had me a little bit nervous is, gosh, when you played against two of the better teams this year, why did you not show up? And is that something that you can correct going into the NFL?
I know for me personally, Zach, like I'm still targeting with 12 and 20, the secondary or the linebacking or, front seven. But how likely do you think if a guy like Mansour Delane falls to 12?
Please.
If he's there, is that an obvious selection? Or do they just reach on C.J. Allen at 12 if they don't like anybody else that's on the board just to fill that linebacker position? Where do you think like the likelihood of, where they're looking? Is it linebacker? Is it secondary?
Yeah, I mean, I think corner and linebacker right now, along with like any other player in the front seven or at the top of the board there. I think at 12, if Mansour Delane is available, that's a run the card in situation. He's the best corner overall for me.
I agree. Same.
He can play zone. He can play man. It's just you got to get by Kansas City. Kansas City just lost McDuffie and Watson. They trade McDuffie to the Rams.
Yeah.
Watson signs with the Rams. So they've got a big need at corner. Do they wait? Do they say, okay, we're not going to take corner here. We can address that with the pick we got from the Rams. And maybe somebody, if an Avion Terrell slides or Brandon Cisse from South Carolina, could that possibly an option for them there? But if Delane can get past 9, it sounds like Miami's not going to take him at 11. Cincinnati's a wild card. You never know what the heck they're going to do there at 10. So I think if you're able to dodge Kansas City, there's a good chance Delane can get to you at 12, and I'd absolutely take him. I don't think there's a world where they take C.J. Allen at 12. I think C.J. Allen could be a pick at 20.
Yeah.
I'd love Jacob Rodriguez from Texas Tech to be in that conversation as well. They might be looking at size, though. I mean, they might be looking at, can we back up and take Anthony Hill Jr. from Texas? Maybe a Jake Golday from Cincinnati could be a player that they'd like to have who's also got some versatility if they could possibly move back a little bit or pick up a day 2 pick, whatever that ends up being. But I don't think linebacker at 12. I think at 20 for sure. I think 12 is probably going to be Delane if he's there. Yeah. Otherwise, if a Downs could fall, maybe it's a reach on Thieneman. That could be a guy.
I did mock Thieneman in my recent mock at 12. I did mock that, so I was.
Yeah, and it's weird because they haven't shown they haven't scheduled any visits with Thieneman yet. So I don't know if that's them trying to keep it quiet that they'd be interested in him. I just don't think he's getting to 20 because of Minnesota. Like everybody's putting him going to Minnesota. So if you want him, you probably got to take him at 12.
Yeah, I'm also a huge fan of Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. I've mocked him at 20 as well, and I'd be super content with him. But going back to Downs, I was locking Downs at 10 for the Bengals for the last 2 months. But then they go out and they get Brian Cook. So that kind of makes me feel a little optimistic. It's like, wait a minute, can he get past Cincinnati? Can he somehow fall to 12?
Look, so Downs is my number 1 player on the board. I think he's the best player in the draft. If you came to me in 20 years and said, Brady, there's going to be one player from this draft class that makes the Hall of Fame, you have to put your life savings on who you think it is. I'm putting everything on Caleb Downs. Now, I do have a little bit of inside information. I have a former teammate of mine that he's at Baylor now, but he was at Ohio State. He left after they won the national championship. I joked with him that he won a ring and dipped. He was a corner. And so he's been in meeting rooms with Caleb Downs. And I asked him about him, and he went, bro, that dude's different. Because he said he's a good athlete, all those things. But they said he's been watching film since he's 7 years old. He lives, breathes football. And you see that on tape. So to know that about him personally, and then how he's in the locker room and everything, and then to see what he's on tape, he's never out of position. They put him literally on the line of scrimmage. They put him at an outside corner. They put him at free safety. They put him in the box. They put him everywhere. And Matt Patricia, that's NFL level defensive coordinator. Downs is if we get Caleb Downs at 12, and I actually really liked your idea of trading up with the Browns that I saw, I think it was a few weeks ago, moving up for him.
Yeah.
That'd be the only guy I want to move up, because if we're doing that on our draft show, on April, I will be doing a victory lap around this studio if we get Caleb Downs. It'll be victory dance.
I told you
time.
I'm buying the jersey on draft night if we draft him.
There you go. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I think he's easily the best player in the draft. I absolutely love him. He can just do so much for you. The other guy that I would consider moving up for if he fell to 6 would be David Bailey from Texas Tech. And it's just that's exactly what you're lacking right now is that speed rusher. I think he might be the best pass rusher of this class. I mean, I do love Reuben Bain Jr. If he were there at 12, I'd take him as well. But Bailey is a little bit different. Bain Jr. is more the power guy. Bailey does have that speed, that bend to turn the corner, that twitchiness you were talking about. You know, Bailey and Downs would be the two guys that I would definitely – and Delane. I mean, I would. If you are worried that Delane's going to go, you want to just ensure that you get your guy going up to 6 would be that. If they're able to stay at 12 – and, you know, maybe it's Reuben Bain slides there at 20. I think Colton Hood, the corner from Tennessee, makes a lot of sense for them.
Okay.
Look, you know, I've talked about this. I think there are 6 players in this class defensive players that you're hoping make it to 12, and that would be Sonny Styles. And none of these are probably recent, but Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs, Arvell Reese, David Bailey, Mansour Delane, and Reuben Bain, right? Those are like the 6 guys that I'm like, look, you could throw a Jermod McCoy in because, man, his 24 tape is so good. If he had played in 25 the exact same way, he'd be the best corner in the draft by far. It's just that ACL not working at the combine. We'll have to see what he looks like at his pro day before anyone. But, like, right now, he's corner 2 only because I think the ACL, it's going to scare people. Yeah. Those are like the 6
and
people.
I don't think the Cowboys are taking him.
No, they've talked about no red shirts, that's fine by me. Look, I love Savone Revel. I had a first-round grade on him, so I was doing victory lap in here when we drafted him. But I think they don't want to have to wait until October to get one of their, top draft picks available to them. At least hopefully nothing happens in training camp. But they don't want a college injury being what happens.
Right.
But those are like the 6 guys I'm hoping, and I keep trying to do the math and figure out, okay, how many offensive guys do I think are going to go in the top 11? I'm hoping that like somebody reaches for another quarterback. I'm hoping that maybe someone falls in like a Colson Loveland type, ascendance in the draft for Kenyon Sadiq.
Sadiq, yeah.
Even though I'm not the biggest fan of him, because God, he cannot block. I mean, he does not. He's so bad. I mean, there was one play, and I have it marked on tape. I want to show it I want to do like a tape thing for the show here and show it. His guy trips over somebody else, and so he goes to the ground. Sadiq thinks it's him. He starts like celebrating over him. Meanwhile, I think it was a fumble. The ball's going completely the other way, and he's still celebrating. It's really funny. But I'm hoping that 3 receivers go in the top 11. I'm hoping that like 2 quarterbacks go.
Browns go Ty Simpson at 6.
I'm hoping that we
That'd
get
be awesome.
as many offensive players of it, because it sucks that the one year the Cowboys need defense, and it's a really good defensive draft, there are really no really good offensive football players that you think are going to go in the top 11. It's going to be, which is why I'm team trade back. Hey, me and Jeff Kavanaugh are one and the same. I love trading back. Get more picks. See if you can get a 2 from somebody. If you can go from 12 to like maybe even past pick 20, let's say that like one of the offensive tackles, a Fano or a Mauigoa falls, one of those teams that needs an like, I even thought, like, hey, if outside chance here, if Jeremiah Love falls to 12, does John Schneider, who we know loves running backs, does he make a big, like, 20-spot trade up for Jeremiah Love with us? We'd get a lot in return. We'd probably get, like, a 2 and maybe even, like, maybe a 2 next year, maybe even a 1 next year. And it would allow you to...
Oh, yeah, he'd be the guy to do that. I like that. I hadn't actually heard that thought. I think you're onto something there.
That would be
a possibility.
I firmly believe the Seattle will try to trade up for Jeremiah Love. I'm hoping that he falls to 12 because I've been mocking him to Kansas City. They got K9
He
now.
might.
So,
if Washington doesn't take him at 7, he might be able to make it there.
Or could even take him at 5. I mean,
and then on Caleb Downs, I'm just praying. So I'm from Waxahachie. So when the 2020 draft, when Jalen Reagor, who I grew up watching, got drafted by the Eagles, I wanted to cry. Because I love Jalen Reagor. And so I'm just hoping, I'm trying to let Murphy's Law come into existence here, but like, I'm just hoping that if Downs does not go to Dallas, have him go not NFC East. Just go somewhere else. That's fine. Go to the FC so I can root for you. I feel the same way about Keith Abney, who I played with at Waxahachie as well. He was one of our corner receiver hybrids. I'm actually going to try to get Keith on the show here because, he knows me. But, I'm super excited for him. I'm happy that he's done really good. What are your thoughts on Keith? I'm curious.
Yeah, Keith Abney is just a freak athlete. His tape is not one where I'm like, I think he's a first round guy. I think
No.
there was some buzz early. I've got him in the third, and it's really not even his fault. It's just this is a special cornerback draft.
It is.
But I do love his athleticism. I think he's got some stickiness in coverage. He's physical for the way he wants to play. Keith Abney, there's a lot to really like about him. I mean, heck, if you end up needing a corner at 92, I'd be thrilled to get Keith Abney there.
With Keith, and it's funny. I've been reading several reports about him, and like in almost every single one, everyone notices how good he is at like route recognition and those kind of things. And I wish I could just tell everybody. So now I'm going to give you this information if you didn't know. My senior year, he was a junior. He was one of our corners. He was also our number one receiver, and he was a heck of a receiver. And he was a receiver his senior year too. He played both ways. And he was almost like Travis Hunter full time both ways. He probably played 100% corner, maybe 90% receiver, but he was a heck of a receiver. So it's fun to see him when he gets an interception or he does something, and I'm like, there's the receiver in him because he's seeing something.
He turns into the offensive weapon.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm very excited for him.
That's awesome.
Let's see. Is there anything else?
I gotta jump in on crosstalk here. I love you both.
Yeah.
I'm happy to do this
sir.
anytime you guys want to as we get closer to the draft.
Of course. Would love to.
Yeah, thanks again, Zach. Well, I know we'll stay in touch.
Yeah, same.
You got it. Absolutely.
Talk to you later, Zach. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Zach.
Bye-bye.
Well, there goes Zach Wolchuk. Oh, sorry for that buzz. That was Chase disconnecting
I was
his phone. So
disconnecting.
there goes Zach Wolchuk. That was really cool. Chase, thank you for the
of course.
Thank you for the assist, the big time assist, the Scottie Pippen level assist there.
Of course.
To my Jordan, of course. I'm joking. I didn't want to dominate too much, but
you're right.
Draft talk is super exciting, and then the Cowboys. But now we're gonna get into a little more.
Oh, he texted me saying he got a bail for crosstalk with KNC. I didn't even see that.
Oh, that's fine. Oh,
I had my phone on Do Not Disturb.
Oh, sorry, KNC.
Yeah.
We tired him out. We appreciate Zach, and we'll see if we can get him on again. Maybe right for the draft, maybe even after the draft. Obviously he's doing draft show stuff with Dallas Cowboys, so he can't do anything during the draft. Which I'm now finding out my entire draft show is abandoning me.
Yeah, I don't know. I will not be here. I might be able to call in. I hope to be able to call in.
Yeah.
I will plan on calling in.
I'll see who else I can get. I'll find some guys. It'll just be a little bit tougher to find guys now. Anyway, that was a fun conversation.
That was a lot. Yeah.
That was fun. So now we got to unpack a little bit more with the Cowboys offseason. Obviously, we'll go into more news-focused stuff now. Cowboys signed Jalen Thompson, biggest contract since like Brandon Carr. That's a big deal. And you heard us talking about it. I'm not saying that everything we've done is A+. Oh, we're killing it. We're busting the budget. No. We're not doing those things. But you know what we are doing, Chase? We're getting better. And it really frustrates me that fans don't realize this. You were like 4 stops away from being a playoff team. You get one stop against Green Bay in overtime, right? If Leofau doesn't get that penalty, or if maybe Stewart jumps the little hook route earlier, you win the game, right? So there's an extra win. You stop Carolina on that one play, you probably go win that game because your offense.
Not to mention, CD missed 4 games in that span where we lost, Carolina?
I'm just saying.
We lost 2.
You get least. 1 more, maybe 2 more stops against Philly in week 1, you win that game. Like,
CD catch the ball.
Okay, yeah, but like I'm saying, like defensively, you make maybe 4 or 5, maybe 3 or 4 extra stops. There's 3 extra wins there. You're a 10-win team. You're probably a playoff team at that point. So it frustrates me because you would have eclipsed the Packers. Yeah, you'd have been a playoff team. And that frustrates me that people are, this is going to be a longer rebuild for the defense. You're not going to build a defense that's going to be top 10 in 1 year. Yeah. And if you're expecting that, quit expecting that. That is an unreal, you went from, I'm going to call us the worst defense in the league. Because I think we were worse than Cincy. I think. I could be wrong. People could disagree. I think we were worse than Cincy. You're the worst defense in the league. You get to 25. You could maybe, with this offense, with Pickens and Lamb and that O-line humming as it is, and Javonte, maybe even, and Dak, bro, you could go to the playoffs with a top 25 defense, let alone top 15. I think my goal is by next season, Christian Parker has this unit in the top half of the league. I'm gradually going with this. People are expecting way too much from this defense. I know it's because Jerry said this and Jerry said that. Look, Jerry can say whatever he wants. I don't care what Jerry says. I don't care. I don't. I don't believe it. Let's see it. Jalen Thompson's a nice signing. Rashawn Gary was a nice trade. I don't think they're done. I hate to say this, but Jonathan Allen just signed with Cincinnati.
Oh.
So we lost out on that. But, Jonathan Grenard is like an outside linebacker. That'd be totally cool with that. I mean, it's...
You got to think that, and I was talking about this with my dad yesterday, you have to think, and now look, with Jerry, you never know. He could just be doing this because he's doing it. But with the moves they made yesterday and some of the cap that they cleared, you have to think there's something going on that they're planning for. Whether that's an extension for Pickens, an extension for Aubrey, or they're going out and getting somebody, you have to think that there's something behind what they did yesterday.
Yeah,
and I don't know what that is.
Yeah,
but you have to think there's something. And I'm really anxious to see here in the next couple of days if anything goes down, because something can happen any day now, any minute now.
Yeah, that's the thing is,
there's got to be something behind what they did.
You look at the last week, and whenever they would, the Cowboys made 3 moves to clear cap space. Oh, look, they signed blank and blank, right? That's kind of what so I don't want to cut you off. But Rashawn Gary, I think that he's the DeMarcus Lawrence replacement. I think he's a guy that can come in, he plays well against the run, he's stout. I know people are going to complain because he's a Michigan guy. I know people are going to, don't freak out, Chase. He's Michigan, but...
Hey, we didn't draft him.
No, we didn't draft him, and he's actually one of the few Michigan guys that plays really well in the NFL. I don't think he's, and we reworked his contract so that cap hit's not as much as it was. They're probably going to extend Quinnen at some point, maybe past the draft. Look, I mean, they've shredded their. I put it on Twitter. I've been kind of busy with car stuff the past couple of days, so I haven't really been able to tweet as much as I would have liked. But I kind of put it out there. I'm like, look. You're shredding I don't like shredding the one position group on defense that I felt good about. The one position group was what? It was
D-tackle.
D-tackle. So, and you've shredded that. You let Winfrey go. You traded Osa and you traded Solly. You traded Solomon Thomas for a seven spot trade up in the 7th round.
But they cleared $3 million.
I hope we get somebody.
Yeah, could you imagine? That's just,
it turns into I don't know. I don't know who's the 7th round pick that was really good. But anyway, it turns into Julian Edelman or something. It'd be great. But, I think that for Dallas, they've done some moves that have helped. I think getting a 3rd rounder for Osa is really good. And what really frustrates me, again, I'm saying that a lot, but the conversation of they traded Osa for a 3rd round pick. Maybe they could even draft Osa Odigizua with that pick. I think that is poor framing because... Yeah, you might draft Osa. It's a lottery ticket. You might draft someone as good as him. You might draft someone better. You might draft someone worse. You don't know. But let's say you draft someone equivalent to Osa. When people go, well, then why'd you trade him? You clear cap space for 4 years.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Osa's not worth the price tag. What I'm saying is the one benefit to doing something like that people never talk about is you get someone for cheaper. You reset that timeline, right? When the Vikings traded Stephon Diggs for a 1st round pick, they traded with that first, they got that 1st round pick, Justin Jefferson. Now obviously that is an upgrade, but they got Jefferson on a rookie deal versus having to pay Stephon Diggs. There's a benefit there, and I'm tired of people not seeing that benefit or acknowledging that benefit. And the reason they don't want to is because, well, he might not turn into Osa. Well, you're right, he might not. He might even be better. You don't know. We actually have a decent hit rate in the 3rd round. If you look at Revel, I think Overshown. You look at there was a couple other guys that I saw. I'm like, you know what? They have a little better there in the 2nd round. So yeah, that's pretty cool. But I just think. By the way, last player from the 2021 draft class is gone. That was Osa.
I know.
It's kind of crazy that defensive draft that you're probably going to have this year. But getting 92, now you have a day 3. I think it's a good bit of business. You have a day 3 pick. You had a surplus of goods. It's asset management. Yeah. This is what team building is. Okay, we have a surplus of defensive tackles. We have nothing at everywhere else. We need to trade this guy, get us a top 100 pick, and try to plug one of the holes with that.
I'm hoping with that 3rd round pick they get a guy like Bud Clark or Zakee Wheatley, that 3rd round safety.
Yeah.
But those guys are much better than a 3rd round pick. It's just because of the safety, their stock is way down.
The good news is that you already have 2 starting defensive tackles. So whoever you're rotating on after, hopefully you sign another. I know you got Otto. I think it's Otto Abonia, how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
He's a big old nose tackle, so he'll be your rotating nose with probably Toya. There's your 3 noses.
I mean, CP made it very clear on what he wants at that defensive tackle position. I mean, Osa 6'2", 280. Not going to cut it.
Yeah, I think the smallest defensive tackle for Philly was Moro Ojomo at 292.
Yeah, so it's just not going to cut it.
Yeah, so I think CP, and that's the thing is, I'm not saying that you should trust CP, Christian Parker, implicitly and say, we know he's doing the right thing. No, you don't know he's doing the right thing. But you know what? He's clearly got a vision for it, and we, as fans, you can disagree with the moves. Let's see how it works out.
Yeah,
I don't like ripping. I think they're allowing CP to make his moves, build his defense the way he wants to, at least right now. Maybe next year, same, build the defense the way you want to. And thankfully, I think he likes Quentin Williams. That's good. If he didn't like Quentin Williams, that'd be. I guarantee you that in the interview, they said, "All right, Christian, here's our guys, right? We've got Quentin Williams, Kenny Clark. Anything big happen?
No, just Mike Evans. Mike Evans officially signed.
We've got Ezeraku, we've got Revel and Bland, and these guys. Can you use them?" And he probably went, "Yeah, I can. They're the type of guys that I like and I want to use. Perfect. Then we'll go out and get you other guys, right?" I think that it's fine asset management to trade Osa for a 3. It's what you drafted him with, so maybe you can draft a guy that can give you good production as a 3rd rounder. And now that allows you to, if you trade back, to get another top 100 pick. And now you have 4 top 100. If you remember in 2021, we had 5 picks in the top 100, I think, because you had Micah, who was the 1st rounder, Kelvin Joseph, Bossman Fat, who was the 2nd rounder, and then you had 3 3rd rounders. Who ended up being Oso Odigizua, Chauncey Golston, and Deshaun Wright. So you've got, if you can try to get in a position where you can have maybe an extra, maybe 2 extra, and now you got 5 picks there, man, now you're talking about the resources to really acquire young talent on defense. And I didn't get a chance to say this, but big fan of Jacob Rodriguez. You talk about I don't like to use comps like this frequently, but he's Luke Kuechly-esque with his processing. It's just that he's a little bit smaller. And it's funny, I actually learned this about him last night. I watched him last night in preparations. I planned on talking about with Zach, and we just got all other stuff. But he was recruited as a quarterback.
Yeah, I remember that.
He was a quarterback safety, went to Virginia, and played quarterback, running back, receiver, and tight end. And then when he transferred to Tech after his freshman year, then he transitioned to a defensive player, but not as a safety, as a linebacker. So he's a little bit smaller. And sometimes he struggles to get off blocks, especially if he is going downhill, he can get off blocks. Okay. If a guard or somebody meets him at the 2nd level, he struggles. He needs his momentum to use that. Yeah. But yeah, I'm up to 25 players on the draft, just to kind of go on a side tangent here. So far, I've got how many 1st-round grades? I think I have.
Have you sent me your big board yet?
I have.
Okay.
You just haven't looked at it. It's okay. I have 15 1st-round grades. Here's the order of those 15 players. It's Caleb Downs, Arvell Reese, Ruben Bain, Jeremiah Love, Sonny Styles, Mansour Delane. I think he said Mansour, so I'm going to go ahead and use his pronunciation. Mansour Delane, David Bailey, and Francis Mauigoa. I think that's the end of my top of the 1st-round grades. Then Jermod McCoy, Carnell Tate, Makai Lemon, Jordan Tyson. All 3 receivers are in just a glut right there. Dylan Thieneman, Cassius Howell, and Spencer Fano. Although Howell I might be changing to because I didn't watch the Texas or the Miami game. Those are 2 games I just didn't see because, again, I'm kind of at the mercy of what games I have available to me. But I may go back in and watch how he played in pass rush against those.
I'll take Zach's word for it.
Yeah, I'll go in and watch, and I'll go see what he looked like. And then here's kind of here's the 2nd-round grades. There's no 3rd-round grades just yet. So this is from 16 to 25. It's Peter Woods, Monroe Freeling, who's one of my favorite players. He's the left tackle from Georgia, 6'7", 300-something pounds. Long arms. I like those type of tackles. Keldrick Falk, Ola Venega, Ione, Oliva Vega. Oliva Vega. I thought that was an N. Oliva Vega, Ione, C.J. Allen, Jacob Rodriguez, Caleb Banks, Kenyon Sadiq, Denzel Boston, and Caden McDonald, who I watched last night. McDonald is your prototypical nose tackle. I'd love him in the 3rd round. Don't
worry, we'll take him at 12.
He's a fantastic run stuffer. He just has no pass rush. He's a rotational run stuffer. It's just that as a run stuffer, he's probably the best pure run stuffer I've seen in the class so far. He's fantastic at it. It's just because he can two gap. He gives me some Vince Wilfork vibes too, because he can two gap and do those things. But he really just a pass rusher. He just kind of, whatever. He can give you a couple. I think my comp for him is Puna Ford. He's a little bit taller than Puna is. But yeah, I'm excited. It's draft season. I've been grinding it over spring break here with watching players every night. Yeah, schools. Look, I'm junior level classes now, so schools getting a little tougher. But we're still on track for 150 players by draft day. Just going to be a grind. Very excited. Haven't watched Mendoza yet. I'm kind of waiting on quarterbacks till I get like a top 50 in, and then I'll probably, when I get my top 48, I'll probably watch him and Simpson and see where they fit in that. But I'm very excited for the draft. Obviously, everybody knows that I love the draft, but the Cowboys, and it's kind of fun because my team has 2 picks.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fun to see like
it's gonna be fun to watch like every single pick that goes before us.
Oh, it's like I'm be sweating bullets.
If we hear Mekhi Lemon, Colonel Tate, yes. Like we need all unless look, I'd love taking a guy like Colonel Tate.
I like Carnell.
I think that'd be a cool have just three.
He would
3 receivers like that.
I will say this: if you had traded George Pickens for, let's say, a high second round pick, let's say the Browns give you 36 for him. Just I'm throwing a number out there. Ladies and gentlemen, Carnell Tate could replace George Pickens. I'm not saying he's that caliber yet, but I'm saying that type of receiver, the downfield, he tracks the ball really well. He's not as athletic as Pickens is, which is why I didn't use that as the comp. I don't remember what my comp was for him. Let me go look it up. I don't remember what my comp was for him. But he is a downfield threat, stretch the field. Is Chase on X? Oh, yeah, Chase is on Twitter, Dad. You can go follow him. He's got like a picture. It's like a Mavs picture, right?
Yeah, it's like Luka and Kyrie.
Yeah. But what was I saying? But, having 12 and 20, having 2 top picks, I'm very excited for that. Carnell Tate, that's how I'm like, I know I was talking about something. What was I talking about?
I'm trying to think about who you would have as your comp. If it's not Pickens, I mean, I didn't have Pickens as his comp anyway, but I'm trying to think about who you would.
For what?
For Carnell Tate, I'm trying to think about who your comp would be for him.
Trying to figure that out. And by the way, I like all 3 receivers. Tyson has some injury flags, which is why I kind of have him down. If he didn't have the flags,
he's wide receiver 1.
He's probably a wide receiver 1, yeah. But he's got the injury flags. There's some things where he really doesn't like fighting through press. He's not the most physical receiver. He kind of likes to. He needs you to kind of scheme him open a little bit. But if you can do that, he can do some special things with the ball in his hand, right?
His brother. His brother's a pretty good rotational player for the Cavs in the NBA, right?
Really? What's his brother's name?
Jalen Tyson.
Really?
Yeah. He's a 8th man off the bench for the Cavs.
It's always cool when there's brothers that are professional athletes in different sports.
Right. Yeah.
And the first example that I always think of is the Thompsons.
Yeah.
Clay and Trace.
Yeah.
Trace plays baseball, and of course Clay plays basketball. But you have the Smith and Jigbas. His Jackson plays football, and his brother's in the Pirates organization.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about that one.
Here we go. Tyson. We're just going to do some draft talk here, folks. Tyson, strengths. He's great after the catch. Smooth, snappy routes. Good size and a catch radius. He's 6'2", 2 years of good production. The weaknesses, lengthy injury history, and he struggles to separate from more physical corners. Similar, think Cooper Kupp with his body type. And one of his best ways to score in the red area is 5-yard line, those little speed outs.
Yeah.
And that Cooper Kupp is really good at, he's really good at. Mekhi Lemon, versatility. You can line him up inside, outside. He was a core special teamer for them. Quick, snappy route runner. I always like that kind of phrasing. Can make multiple defenders miss with ease, and he's got natural hands. Weaknesses, he does struggle to fight through contact, and he can be disruptive on his route. So he's more of a Jalen Waddle, my comp for him, type of guy where, man, if you can get him away from like the Stephon Gilmores of the world that would like jam him, he'll be fine. And then Carnell Tate, strengths, elite ball tracking and elite hands. He'll go up and get it. He's got great hands. He's probably got the best hands of the 3 guys. He's got some grit. He blocks. He fights through press. He's a natural separator down the field. Weaknesses, he gets a little choppy. If he's running a short route, he can't build up his speed, he gets a little choppy on it. When he is able to run a deep route, he gets some speed. For some reason, he's
another gear.
It's just a little bit better. And then he doesn't have burner speed, ran 4.53. It's fine. He's not going to run away from you, but he can get open. He's fast enough. And my comp for him, his play style is similar to Romeo.
Okay, I would never have guessed that. Okay.
that down the field threat. I kept trying to find like who was, because I wanted to say Pickens, but Pickens is like 6'3", whatever, and ran like 4, whatever, and but he's 6'2".
Yeah.
But he's 192 pounds. I think Pickens is a little bigger than that. But I like, and then I watched Denzel Boston, who gives me Alec Pierce vibes.
Okay.
He lacks.
Oh, you know what? That's who I was probably going to think about for
he lacks the wiggle and the explosiveness, but he can catch down the field. The problem with Boston versus I think Tate has better hands, is better at tracking the ball, and is just a better route runner down the field. Whereas Boston makes those tough catches.
Right.
On a guy on his hip catches it into his body and is tough through the catch, but. I like all the three. I have all 3 first-round grades. They're all 3 kind of right there, and I really think you could put them in any order, and I would agree, right? I mean, I'm not going to fight anyone and be like, no.
They all got their own strengths.
Like, they all do a little bit different things, and it just depends on what you're looking for a receiver. If you want that twitchier, run-after-the-catch guy, I think you go Mekhi Lemon. If you want a guy that can do a little bit of everything, that can make some catches down the field, that can run with the ball, do those things, that's Tyson. And I think if you want a down the field, stretch the field, deep shot type of guy, that's Tate. And I have it Tate, Lemon, Tyson, but I'd probably have it Tyson, Tate, Lemon if Tyson didn't have the injury flags and all that. But, I have a 1 on Thieneman. I have a 1 on Howell. Howell I have, I'm doing a little different this year where I actually put like separate positions. So like edge, like Bailey, Reese, and Howell are in there as edge / outside linebackers. So they play both. Because on draft day, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this up, but I'm also going to have a board of like a horizontal board ranked by position. And so that way I can cross guys off. And okay, here are all the edge outside. Here are all the 3-4 edges. Here are the 4-3 edges. Here are the I want to kind of sort them that way, so that way I can kind of see things. But for the Cowboys, I'm excited.
Yeah. I mean, we gotta hope that somebody just falls.
Look, we're out on Max Crosby. We're out on Trey Hendrickson. I'm still really in on a Joey Bosa or a Al-Quadin Muhammad or someone like that.
He was a Cowboy, wasn't he?
I think so. Yeah. So
he was.
You still got James Houston. He's pretty cool.
And Clowney, I don't think we've had, there's no movement with that.
I don't know how Clowney fits. I think Clowney is a 4-3 DN. I don't know if he really fits as a 4-3 outside linebacker. I don't know if he really fits as that. So
I think I'm in on Grenard. And I think if we get Grenard, then
trade your 3 for him. That 3 you just got, flip it. I'm cool with that. I'd love to get him for a 4.
Yeah, if they can find a way to get him.
I love take a 4 in one of our 5s. And I'd love to do that. But if they need our 3, pick any 2. Let me say this. I would be much happier to like a 4 and a 5. But if they're like, no, I want a 3 for Jonathan Grenard.
Would you give up a 3 and getting back Grenard in like a 6th?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, give me an extra pick back. But, I really like Grenard. It's funny, I watched a lot of Viking tape because I love Brian Flores. And so I've said this before. So Grenard was always a guy that really flashed for me on several plays. I always loved watching him. So I'd love to go trade for a guy like that. As long as he doesn't go to like Philly or something, I'm good.
I know they're in on him.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think that's going to do it for today. I think we're going to have a mock draft in 2 weeks at the end of March or like the start of April, and then we'll have the other one. It's, draft week. Really cool having Zach on. Chase, I appreciate the connection. It's kind of funny that like I just never thought to ask him to come on just because we recorded at the same time as them. So I was just thought, it's not possible.
Yeah.
But
no, and I thought it was easy. It was just talking to him in person. I think it was really easy just to ask him.
Zach's a great dude. Zach,
great guy.
So, I just didn't think about it because I'm like, well, we go on at 2, so he can't come on. I didn't think about we can just start at 1 and he can come on then. But so shows you how forward thinking I am. The brains of the operation. It's this guy. But very excited. Let's see. Is there anything with the Rangers or anything that we missed? I don't think so. Dad, comment. Is there anything with the Rangers that we missed? We'll keep talking for a few seconds till his comment can show up. I know he's watching, so I'm like, Dad, is there anything that we've missed that you can think of?
I'm trying to think about it.
We talked about Kutch. If you didn't see that. But I'm so excited for this tonight. Get to see it. Hey, you know what's cool?
You see McDavid too.
Yeah, even if we lose, I hate losing to Edmonton. I hate losing to them, but I can be like, you know what? I saw Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl in person. It'd be really cool to see these guys in person.
Yeah, and you can really see how fast he goes down the ice.
Yeah, I remember seeing, when I went to the San Jose game in December, and I could pick out which one was Celebrini by how fast he was going.
Yeah,
but it is really, we're the heart of draft season. I just saw a thing today that Peter Woods, apparently it was the pro day for Clemson, and Peter Woods was working, and guess who was
with what's his name? Yeah, our D-line coach,
Marcus Dixon.
Yeah,
who I love that we signed away from Minnesota. So very excited for draft season. Very excited for the draft. I
just want to draft a difference maker. I want to draft
to draft 2.
I want a secondary piece or a linebacker.
You need 2. You really need to figure out linebacker. I think CJ Allen's going to be a pick. I would be willing to put
That's why
money.
I think they reach at 12. I do.
See, I don't think so. I think that they get him at 20.
I'm saying if they don't have their guy there. Like if a guy like Delane, Downs, Bain.
I think they trade back if they're all gone. If the board's wide.
I think a team like Tampa Bay could get him though. That's what I'm worried about.
So I don't.
Unless they want to address just receiver now. I don't
see that. They have that. Tampa Bay has a lot of spots they need to kind of fix, but I think you can get him at 20, and you have the linebacker coach from Georgia, Chiradoro Uzodribe. I think it's how you pronounce his name. Who came in and experienced CJ Allen. So
cool. Real quickly before we go, Commanders signed Rashad White.
That's fine.
So Commanders have a really good offseason. Everyone in the NFC is having a good offseason.
Yeah, but the Commanders had a really good offseason according to everybody last year, and look how that worked out. So and now to be fair, me and Seth had a conversation. I agree. A lot of that reason their season sucked was because Jay Daniels got hurt, and that's not. But I just didn't think it was going to work, and it didn't. But anyway, point is,
hopefully we can keep building up on our solid offseason so far.
Our offseason's been going okay. I just want to see what it looks like. I am going to reserve my pissed off until after the draft, and even after when we get to training camp, and if this defense isn't, I want to see what it looks like then. And if it does not look to where I want it, then I'm gonna be pissed. But if it looks pretty good, if we can get Young healthy,
like we said, you don't need a top 10 defense for this offense to. If everybody's healthy, I mean, you just need a middle of the pack defense. Just a middle of the pack, a team that can make plays, a team that you can trust on 3rd and 7 to not allow 7 yards.
Get off the field.
Get off the field. Allow 4 yards at most and get off the field.
Look,
I mean,
it's a data like this. It's from Bill Durham. It's a simple game. You run, you hit, you throw.
Yeah,
that's baseball, right? Football, that's also very simple.
You run, hit, and throw too.
Well, you run, hit, and throw, but in football, defense is so simple. The keys to a good defense: win the turnover battle, right? Get pressure on the quarterback, and get off the field on 3rd down. Those the 3. You do those 3 things, you will have a really good defense. You don't need to have. You just get off the field on 3rd down.
Yep. Get
some turnovers and put some pressure on the quarterback. And I'd probably say tackle. If you can execute tackling, dude, that's 4 steps.
Tackle on both sides of the ball.
And none of those things are.
I still think they need to address the tackle on offense.
So
well,
we got Steele back, so we'll see what that. But look,
I'm very shocked.
I'm excited. It's the off season. Hopefully by next week we'll have made some new moves and we'll be able to go. Look, we signed this guy and this guy. Actually, there's a move that I think secretly they'll be working on, and I think it could be Joey Bosa. And the reason I think they might do a Joey Bosa thing is they loved him in the draft. He's
not the same player though. I mean,
no, he's not the same player. But you're telling me you wouldn't want Joey Bosa on this team?
It depends on what they get him for.
So anyway, I'm excited. We will talk to you guys next week.
See ya.
See ya.